All right. Nonito Donaire and Monster Inoue fight. Nonito Donaire loses. Nonito and Monster Inoue is thoroughly exposed. Another hype job on the Ring Magazine pound for pound list has been exposed. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon, and that way you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, I want to say thank you so much to my Patreon community and to the live stream community. Make sure you attend the OG Boxing Talk live stream Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself, my co-hosts, executive producer Blood Boxing, co-host Kurt Anderson, Trap House Boxing, and KQKC Boxing. Okay, first of all, very entertaining fight between Nonito Donaire and Monster Inoue. Okay, but you guys can get that pound for pound top number 4 fighter stuff up out of there. Okay, let's talk about the fight first. 12-round back and forth fight. Monster Inoue showed that he is a very good athlete. He is a very game fighter. He's a confident fighter. And that's all I got to say really about him. He's also a deeply flawed fighter. He was in the ring against Nonito Donaire. Now, Nonito Donaire is about 40 years old. Nonito Donaire was in his prime at maybe 10 years ago, something like that. Probably close to his prime, around 27, 28, right? A very over the hill fighter who's already lost to Guillermo Rigondeaux. He lost to Nicholas Walters. He lost to, I do believe he lost to Carl Frampton. You got to check me on that. But, you know, but a very wily, very experienced fighter. But somebody that is pretty much physically shot. He doesn't have the speed that he had before. He doesn't have the reaction time that he used to have. And he caused Monster Inoue every type of problem that he could cause him, other than putting Monster Inoue down on the ground. Okay, now Monster Inoue being a much fresher fighter, much fresher fighter, right? Fast jab, fast straight left hand, because there is a southpaw and a southpaw matchup, right? Very good, crisp body shots, good reaction, was able to get in and out, had very fast foot speed relative to Nonito Donaire. But his head is on a tee. He fights with his chin straight up in the air. When you throw punches at him, he goes straight, he backs straight back up with his chin in the air. He carries his hands low. He loops his punches. And he pretty much relies upon his strength being stronger and more athletic than the other guy to win the fight. And Nonito Donaire was hitting him with straight left hands throughout the entire fight. The only reason Nonito Donaire, the only reason that Monster Inoue was able to win that fight is because Monster Inoue was younger. Now, it was a very good fight. Let me say that. It was a good, entertaining fight. I enjoyed it. But there's 2 things about this thing that I want to point out. Number 1, man, salute to the World Boxing Super Series. I love the World Boxing Super Series. I think it's one of the best things going on in boxing right now, because it is a tournament environment, and in a tournament environment, you don't have any choice to fight but to fight the guy that wins. So Nonito Donaire is not somebody that was carefully chosen for Monster Inoue to make him look good. Monster Inoue is a young fighter. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and Nonito Donaire is a very experienced fighter. So And it made for a very good fight. And I'm sure Monster Inoue will probably learn a lot from that fight. The most important things he should learn is tuck your chin, man. Stop going back with your chin straight out, man, because somebody, when he got hurt, I can't remember when it was, what round he got hurt in. It might have been around maybe the 10th round or something like that, 10th, 11th, 10th round maybe, where Inoue got hurt and got wobbled, and Nonito Donaire though got tired and didn't really couldn't follow up with it because he didn't want to get countered. If that is a younger, stronger fighter, you're getting knocked out because you keep going back with your chin straight up in the air. But Monster Inoue is a talent, and he was a good fighter, and I enjoyed the fight. I think he deserved to win the fight. He pulled the fight out, in my opinion, because he knocked down Nonito Donaire with a very, very nasty body shot. It was a combination of a right, I think it was maybe a right uppercut that set Nonito up for a liver shot. And it really hurt Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire should get a lot of credit for even getting up from that. It looked terribly painful. That said, we're talking about somebody that ESPN has on the number 4 pound-for-pound fighter in the world list. Number 4. Steve Kim has him at number 1. Now, if we were having a conversation about whether or not Monster Inoue is a good fighter, whether he's a talented fighter and somebody that's exciting and fun to watch, hey man, I could completely and utterly enjoy that. But what we're talking about is somebody that's on a pound for pound list, where somebody that is a quote unquote respectable boxing journalist has over Terrence Crawford on their pound per pound list, has over Spence Jr on their pound for pound list, has over Canelo Alvarez on the pound for pound list, has over Mikey Garcia on a pound for pound list. Monster Inoue is not that level of fighter, not close. In order for Terrence Crawford to have had the same performance as Monster Inoue, Terrence Crawford would have had to gone life and death with Andre Berto. Think about it. Andre Berto was a champion at welterweight in his prime, somewhere around the time that Nonito Donaire was there. Before Nonito Donaire, around the time Nonito Donaire lost to Guillermo Rigondeaux, and then lost to Nicholas Walters. That was years ago. That was back in 2015 or 2000. I think that was around 2015 that he was in that shape. In order for this guy just cut, beat up, and almost stopped Monster Inoue. How can this guy be a top 4 pound for pound fighter based on what? Based on skill? Anybody that looks at Monster Inoue and thinks this guy is a top 10 pound for pound fighter off of his skill level, you're out of your mind. He throws looping shots and has his chin, if nothing else, the fact that his chin is just sitting up on a T, and his majority of his punches are wide punches, and he can't duck a straight left hand to save his life. Man, come on. This is where you get these hype jobs that these people want to promote, and they throw them up on a pound for pound list. Now, again, if you're just saying, do you think that Nonito Donaire is a good fighter? Is he one of the best fighters, or could he be the best fighter at 118 pounds? Yeah, I think he could be one of the best at 118 pounds. He could be, him and Zolani Tete, that's how you pronounce it, Tete. I hope we get to see that fight between him and Zolani Tete. I'd be very interested to see the outcome of that. I'd also be interested to see the outcome of him and Luis Nery. I think Luis Nery is going to beat him. But at 122 pounds, Navrati's going to take his head off. Nonito Donaire is not going to be, Monster Inoue is not going to 122 pounds and fighting a guy like Navrati. Navrati will stop that kid. Will stop him in gruesome fashion. And Nonito Donaire also proved that this vaunted punching power that he has is overrated against a guy that is a bigger guy. Now, not Monster Inoue, and see, I talk about this a lot of times when we talk about these weight classes these lower weight classes, where you go from 112 to 115 to 118. Between 112, 115, and 118, that's 6 pounds. You can sweat that off. You can go to the bathroom and get rid of that. So Monster Inoue could be fighting guys where he's probably going to be at 122 pounds. Once he's not able to make 118 pounds, he goes to 122 pounds. I'm telling you right now, it's a wrap for Monster Inoue if he fights, if he does not get radically better. If he continues to have to dance around, if he has to dance around the ring and gets hit with counter shots, counter hooks by a 40-year-old man, Navrati, the guy that beat up Dog Bay, is going to cause him all kind of problems. And I'm even telling you, somebody at 122 pounds like Isaac Dog Bay, forget it. Monster Inoue is not going to beat Dog Bay. So that's just the people around his weight class. But when you're talking about pound for pound situation, you're talking about guys who are the best of the best. You're talking about Canelo Alvarez and Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and Vasily Lomachenko. None of these guys are going to go tooth and nail with a dang near 40-year-old fighter. Okay, it's a diminished guy who had already lost multiple times to fighters that had never, except with the exception of Guillermo Rigondeaux, had never been anywhere near a pound for pound list. This is similar to Errol Spence Jr. This is similar to Errol Spence Jr. struggling with a Juan Manuel Marquez who came out of retirement. Or maybe if you want to look at it and say maybe somebody, who was 154 pounder, like Errol Spence Jr. goes tooth and nail with Austin Trout, who drops down in weight. And even that is questionable because Austin Trout is more fresh than Nonito Donaire. So good fight from Monster Inoue, but drop the pound for pound list stuff. Anybody that has him up that high on the pound for pound list, you're not being honest, because he pulls back from straight punches. He throws too many. He gets caught throwing wide shots. His chin is still stuck straight up in the air. But he is a sharp counter. He's a sharp counter puncher, but he exposes himself. Anyway, that's my look on the fight. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.